What up, bro? Good to see you. How you doing? I know you'll check bro out. Probably live right now. Bars. We do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so in
We wake up
today's
to do
video,
what
this
we
is
gonna
one of
do.
those situations where I wish I was wrong, but unfortunately it seems like I was not. You guys remember the SB 20 bill that we talked about in Texas? That bill that was very vaguely targeting cartoon imagery regarding anything that would be deemed as childlike. Remember that? Well, apparently, people would commenting on my video, calling me grifter, liar, all kinds of stuff, right? Because they were saying, no way, this is not going to come for anime. This is only going after illegal content, like CP and cartoon CP imagery. This is not going after anime. Stop lying to people. Stop rage baiting. Stop fear mongering. Well, you're not going to apologize, are you? You're not going to leave a comment right now and say that you were wrong. I highly doubt that. But guess what? We're going to make a video anyway. So we have an article here from Screen Rant talking about how, due to the new Texas law, this is now forcing some Dragon Ball off of store shelves. Now, you're probably asking yourself, well, why are they removing Dragon Ball, right? Dragon Ball's regular anime. Dragon Ball's regular manga. It's not Gooner material. It's not CP. It's not any of that. Well, it goes to show you don't actually know shit about manga, unfortunately. So the reason why they are removing this stuff off of store shelves, and we're going to get into their reason, but the reason that I'm going to tell you is because in the original manga, Bulma and Goku, by the way, Goku's seen running around without underwear, like these little peepees running around, but Bulma was also nude multiple times in the original manga. And she obviously was not of age in the original manga because Master Roshi was gooning after her anyway. And that work was kept legit in the English versions. It wasn't censored or anything. They kept it 100% legit. So because of that, that kind of content, due to this new law, could be vaguely targeted. This is the kind of content that can be targeted in your regular anime. Are you a fan of Evangelion? Well, how old do you think Shinji is? How old do you think Masato is, who goons after Shinji in the beginning of the anime? How old do you think Asuka is? Yeah, figure that shit out, right? So in any case, apparently according to Texas' latest wave of legislation, is now making waves in unexpected places, including comic book stores and the Dragon Ball manga. A recently enacted law, Senate Bill 20, SB 20, is intended to combat obscene imagery, including material generated by artificial intelligence. However, its broad language has left others worried about how beloved works of popular culture might suddenly fall under scrutiny. Now, see, here's the problem, okay? Here's the problem. When it comes to this bill, and many bills like it, these bills are so vague, and this is what I was really harping on in my first video, but people, unfortunately, they wanted to not face reality so bad that they rather attack me than face the reality of what's actually going down right now, and especially going down literally right now in Texas. But the reality of this bill is that it's so vague that they can literally just claim anything is childlike and get it taken down. Even if it's not childlike, they can get it taken down. There is a lot of anime, especially older anime and manga, that would be deemed problematic now, that could get banned in the state of Texas because, some Karen thinks it's not safe for people, right? That's basically it. So now, apparently, that concern became a reality for one comic book shop in Westlaco, Texas. Andrew Balderas, manager of Kaboom Comics, recently pulled volumes of Dragon Ball Z from the shelves, according to Valley Central. Though the depictions in question are rare and framed for humor, which, by the way, yes, obviously the whole Bulma being gooned after Master Roshi and Goku running around without his underwear on, chasing whatever, like that shit is obviously for comedic effect. But the simple truth is that they don't care. They don't give a fuck. They don't care about the context of the story. These Karens don't care about any of that. All they want to see is, oh, this has problematic content that I don't like, that I want banned. Well, ban it. That's basically it. Get rid of it. These are the same people, by the way, that banned Assassination Classroom for years until it just recently got reversed. But it's been banned for a long time. All because they saw the name of the manga. They're like, well, that's problematic. We are experiencing school shootings right now. We can't have it. We can't have a manga that's called Assassination Classroom, even though it's a story about a classroom being trained to kill a fucking alien that is threatening to destroy the Earth. But regardless, they still have to make it something that it's not. So in any case, though the depictions in question are rare and framed for humor, he chose to act cautiously rather than risk violating the new law. The move shows how vague legal standards can impact creative works never meant to cross the line in the first place. SB 20 passed the overwhelming support in the Texas legislature earlier this year. Its aim was to crack down on obscene content involving children, particularly images created with using new technologies like AI. Lawmakers argued that keeping ahead of rapid technological changes required updating existing obscenity laws to cover not just real photographs, but also illustrations, cartoons, and computer-generated material. Now, okay, I'm going to put it to you like this. There's a lot of nuance to this conversation. There's a lot of nuance to this argument. I can see both sides to the argument. There are some cartoons that are drawn that are highly sus, right? That are so obviously depicting a child, right? And they'll try to utilize the whole 1,000-year-old whatever to try to, lie about the depiction of it being a child. But then I also see the other side of the argument, whereas it's a fucking cartoon. It's not real. It doesn't have an age. It's not a real person. There's nobody being harmed here, whatever. I get both sides of the argument. And again, for me, even though the content's not for me, I get both sides. But at the end of the day, this is going to go well past that. They're always going to start with the most obscene stuff, the stuff that half the people don't want to defend. They're always going to start with that. And they're going to end with something that everybody likes, which is like Dragon Ball Z, for example, or Dragon Ball, for example, right? They're going to always do this. It's a stepping stone. It's never the final fight. Any of this stuff is never the final fight. They're going to continue to go after things until eventually they got rid of everything that the average Joe actually enjoys. That's really what this is. You give an inch, you take a mile kind of a situation. But in this case, they're taking entire football fields at this point. So the challenge lies in the bill's wording specifically. It specifies that depictions can be illegal regardless of whether the depiction is an image of an actual child, a cartoon, an animation, or an image created using AI. That broad phrasing means fictional works like manga or anime can technically fall within its scope if they meet the obscenity test. Critics argue that this creates confusion for retailers and fans alike. While most people support restricting AI-generated harmful imagery, the possibility of traditional comics or anime being targeted feels like collateral damage. And that is right there what the main point of my entire first video was. All I'm trying to say is that the wording of this bill is not done in the favor of people who enjoy anime or manga. It is done in the favor of the people who want that shit banned. The reason why is because it's so vague. It can literally mean damn near anything, right? So at this point, you can actually see this stuff getting banned in real time. And it's because the wording is so vague that content like early Dragon Ball or some of the Dragon Ball Z stuff could be banned as well. That's just how it goes. Balderas, for instance, says Dragon Ball Z was never intended to sexualize its young characters, but the letter of the law left him with few options but to play it safe. The removal of Dragon Ball Z volumes highlights the unintended consequences of SB 20. The franchise, one of the most popular Japanese exports worldwide, occasionally features its main character Goku shown unclothed as a child. These moments were created decades ago in a comedic context, not for exploitation. Still, under the law's vague standards, they risk being misinterpreted. For Balderas, the decision wasn't easy. He acknowledged that customers rarely brought up the law and that most fans likely wouldn't view the older volumes as offensive. Yet as a business owner, the possibility of criminal liability, even on a technicality, was too serious to ignore. Removing the books was a precautionary measure to protect both himself and his store. The case reflects a concern across the comic and anime retail industry. Store managers may now have to carefully comb through decades of material to identify scenes that might get flagged. Given how vast and diverse these franchises are, ensuring compliance becomes a nearly impossible task. As Balderas noted, nobody can realistically review every single panel across hundreds of series. So I want to keep in mind that sure, there's going to be a lot of stuff that slips through the cracks because there's a lot of content that they have to go through. But there are groups out there like Collective Shout that will do the sifting through for them, right? These women are bored, okay? They don't have a single fucking thing going on in their life. The most excitement that they get on a daily basis is how much things they can take away from people that enjoy them. That's what they get off on. The more they can ban things,
I know to go check out Blood Dragon, great content creator. He
that's
highly
what
active.
they live for. So they're going to spend every waking moment of their day looking through content that they want to get banned. So the moment groups like that find out about content like Evangelion, for example, or content like Dragon Ball, for example, or even Inuyasha to a certain extent, anytime they find content like that, guess what's going to happen? Oh, it's going to be a clusterfuck. They're going to ask for all types of banning to be happening. So that is the biggest problem. It's not necessarily the stores that have to comb through everything. It's hate groups that want to get this all taken down that are going to do the combing through for them. So all I'm saying is that unfortunately, this is starting to affect the content that people said that it wasn't going to affect. There was hundreds of comments on my video that I made about SB20 saying how wrong I was, how much of a grifter I was, how much of a rage baiter I was, how much of a fear monger I was. And I just sat there and laughed at all of them because I knew eventually a story was going to come out that was going to prove me right. And people who were talking like me right as well. Shout out to Chippy Reviews. He was also another person. Same exact thing. And now look at us. Here we are going through this. This is the first of many that is going to be happening in Texas as long as this bill continues to go with vague wording. If they want to alter the bill to specifically mention certain things, then let them do that and let the law follow through. But at that point, everything is so vague that it's not even just going to target anime and manga. It's also going to target other cartoon imagery as well. And any kind of American cartoon that people may like that might be a little bit too problematic, well, that could be subject to the ban as well. You never know. Your hands, your collection, your manga collection, your anime collection is in the hands of Karens. Does that really sound like something that sounds enticing to you? Because it sure as hell does not sound enticing to me, considering I have over 2,000 mangas in my collection. The last thing I want is for a Karen to determine what's allowed in my collection or not. So you guys can let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about this entire nonsense regarding the banning or potential banning of Dragon Ball, considering the problematic imagery under the new law? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you agree with the store owner and preemptively taking down this stuff to protect his business? Let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it, consider hitting that like and subscribe. And I will see you guys.
Well, as you already know, as a good salesman, you're supposed to know your product. So whenever the new product come out, you're supposed to have to try that shit. Hey, if you ain't trying your own fucking product, then you don't know how good to tell other people it is. Therefore, yeah, I mean, if you ain't reading the manga, you won't see the shit. So then, whenever you see something like Goku running around buck ass naked because he's a child in that scene, and that's exactly what all it was. It's him going through his normal day, but since he's left by himself because Grandpa's dead, because the last time Goku remembers, he was saw a full moon, right? Next thing you know, what happened? Ozaru. That means his clothes ripped off him because he didn't have Saiyan armor. Well, he had Saiyan armor, but Gohan had took it off of him, not realizing why it was his clothes and those were supposed to be his clothes. But that's another problem. Like, here it goes. Anyways, yeah, so, he turns into a giant monkey, squishes his grandpa. Then when he wakes up, he's running around buck ass naked because he can't find grandpa, or grandpa's dead, whichever way it was told in the story. I don't remember. That Park is hell. That's Dragon Ball. That was written in the 80s. Shouts out to that being a different time. But that's what they doing. They're gonna erase history by banning things, and then you're like, well, they banned the whole thing just because a few fucking chapters. Now, the few chapters and issues where they do have the full blown nudity of Goku or him laying on Bulma's lap after he figured out she's a girl and there's no diddler down there. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, you get rid of those episodes, or you go back in and re-edit them and then re-release them so it's edited out. But yes, we're going to be edited. Shouts out to losing the freedom of speech. Yeah, they gave it to you. So now when they take it away, you're going to have to use your Second Amendment to get your First Amendment back, because that's some edited type shit right there. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know what I mean. You don't know what I mean, though, but you get it. Shit happens. Uh, Protect your Second Amendment, because the first is gone.
On the next one. And if you said I was a rage baiter, why don't you just admit you were wrong for fuck's sakes for once? Just admit you were wrong. It's okay. Leave a comment. Don't worry about it. Stronger
it was even before, to the point where he could hold up Mount Sumeru on just one shoulder, which basically equaled out to holding up the infinite cosmic sky. Wukong was able to reach perfection on his journey, entering into the incomplete nirvana, which is boundless reality beyond everything, beyond all concepts and limitations. It's above the God realms and the formless realms, which those two realms were already above physicality and dimensions. So we're talking about like true outer-versal stuff here. And it doesn't stop there, because at the end of his journey, Sun Wukong was brought before the Buddha again. And this time, he transcended into the complete nirvana, which made him even more powerful.
Jesus Christ, really?
Don't forget to become a member of Unrelent Gaming's Patreon for exclusive manga content and early access. Isn't that right, Zen?
I already joined this Patreon today. Tons of great stuff on there, actually. But did you really have to blow up the city?
Yes.
Blew up the dominoes. You blew up the dominoes and you're laughing. Do you realize the f***ing crisis here?
And you will be next, unless you subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications right now.
Or else what? You'll aggressively scream another man's name for several hours?
Kakarot! Kakarot!
Now, although with the stakes having to now be at their absolute highest, I have no doubt that what we are bound to witness are going to be the final few moments of a battle that will determine our very survival.
As our story now continues, following the initial battle being waged within the Demon Realm involving both Berserker Raijin and the Omni Grand Priest during the final moments of their battle within the Demon Realm, as it was only with Berserker Raijin now being shown quickly having to fall back upon the Grand Priest being shown having to directly address him, was when the Grand Priest then went on to quickly respond, "Now as badly as you wish to go and devour my power by using your own as a means of asserting your authority over my own, you would be truly delusional to go and believe that anything you try here against me will actually be and what will destroy me, demon," with Berserker Raijin responding, "What I don't understand. How are you so calm and why are you acting as though this death battle of ours is over when it's only just getting started here, Angel?" with the Grand Priest responding, "The answer as to why is quite simple here, demon, because not only had I been able to see and noticing that you are doing everything that you possibly can to sustain yourself throughout the course of this battle just to simply stay alive, but I'm also now starting to notice that you are struggling to control the power of the angelic race from deep within, which only goes as far as to tell me that you aren't going to be lasting much longer out here, and you know it, Raijin," with an angry Raijin being shown quickly responding, "Oh, now you listen here, you exalted little worm, for this condescending facade that you continue to plaster on the surface only goes on to mask the fear that I am able to go and sense that is coming from deep within your very spirits," Raijin continues, "because you and I both know that it'll only be a matter of a short time before I find a way to reach you. But worry not what you think is going to happen here," Raijin adds, "because while you claim to want to go and bolster your resolve by attempting to go and try to make me pay for my actions here against all of you, understand that no matter what you try and say, no matter how many of you there are that wait by the sidelines and having to align themselves in your cause to try and stop me, I will continue to not only force myself to push back against you by crushing you beneath the sheer weight of my bottomless and superior power, but once this battle here between us is finally done, and once the dust from our war here finally begins to settle, Raijin says, it'll be I who will be crowned as the new Omni ruler within this known reality, and unlike how it was a long time ago, it will be you who will come to ultimately experience on what this pain that you claim to want to inflict upon me will feel like once you are to finally fall as I once fell. But then, it was only just within these very moments as the Omni Grand Priest went on to make his move by striking Raijin away was when the Grand Priest went on to then quickly respond, then by all means go right ahead and do your worst here if you honestly think that it'll truly be enough to go and crush me, despite with me not even having to feel the need to go and use 100% of my true power here against you to begin with here, Raijin. I don't like this, as it only now seems like this demon is willing to go and risk it all just to prove his point by doing what he can to try and topple the Grand Minister's power here, Beerus says. But although with the Grand Minister seemingly having to go and remain in complete control of this contest, something about this entire situation to me just doesn't feel right, Beerus continues. But hopefully I'll go and be proven wrong here, because that demon shouldn't be this powerful enough to go and resist the Grand Minister, but somehow he is trying to be. To which it was only within these very moments now with the Omni Grand Minister being shown having to completely dominate Raijin by being shown having to strike him from behind was when the Omni Grand Priest went on to then quickly respond, as this here is for going about and having you carry on by endangering the entirety of all life within the multiverse and calling for the mightiest warriors to go and be destroyed, all within the name of a stolen title that you...
I like how he always does that though. See, the whole frame's in black and white, but then yeah, the rings are in red. Not the Grand Minister's rings, which are blue, but the demon guys, because he trying to look like a problem, but he ain't doing shit.
While I, on the other hand, had been kept locked away by you and allowing for you to nearly secure victory over them, demon. And so now go and do yourself a favor for the sake of having to go and save yourself the embarrassment and surrender this battle here against me. Otherwise, I will go and continue to punish you until you are no longer able to move here, demon. With Raijin responding, you sanctimonious little fool, basking in your momentary triumph as if it means anything at all in the grand scheme of things. And while you may have went and had outmaneuvered me here once again, Raijin continues, since I really don't have anything left to lose here, allow for me to go and reveal my glorious master plan to you, Grand Minister. For you see, this anomaly that I have harbored within, which I am more than certain that you have sensed by now, isn't a weakness of any kind, but rather an egg. Yes, a pulsating embryo of power created by infusing my potential along with Murno's former glory and having it give way to my next great evolution, Raijin says. And as I cycle these final moments during this great conflict of ours in order to go and annihilate my current self so that I may go and be reborn and having to be immeasurably more powerful than how I am right now, and if by some chance my next great evolution is to go and be prevented, then I will go and erupt in an all-consuming explosion, swallowing the entire...
Yeah, so he just said he's finna pull a demon god Piccolo. Okay, yeah. Before you kill me, I'ma just copy myself into this egg, which is gonna give me even more power. Because if you remember, Piccolo Jr. came out at hell already at Goku's power level, which was high, High. Hi, how you doing? Hello, type shit.
multiverse whole, so that triumph eludes us all internally, Grand Minister. And if I can't be the one to go and rule over these worlds with an iron fist and allowing me to become the mightiest in all of creation, Raijin continues, including by displacing both yourself along with those little worthless Omni Kings, then I will just go about and having to set off my destructive seed early and destroy the entire multiverse, along with every world within it, if it means in having to be able to solidify my victory at everyone's expense, Angel. And then, only then, if I am able to go and evolve myself by destroying who and what I am within this very moment, so that I may go and emerge far more potent and far more powerful and far more dangerous than how I am right now, will I only then go about having to carry out these final stages of my newly conjured up grand plan by feasting upon your flesh and the flesh of those who side with you, along with feeding on your beating hearts by the time all of this is over, Raijin says. And if I feel the need to go the extra distance in terminating myself so that none of you may live to see tomorrow, well then that will be exactly on what I plan to do if I need to, Angel. To which it was only within these very moments, once again with the Omni Grand Priest having to take charge and going after Berserker Raijin yet again, was when Goku then went on to quickly respond, wait, so you're meaning to go and tell me that this maniac is planning to not only go and destroy himself so that he could go and use that corrupted seed within himself to evolve into becoming an even far greater danger to us than how he is shown and having to be right now, but he will also go and still try to attempt to destroy himself along with all of us and the entire multiverse if he can't go through with having to put down the Grand Minister, with Whis responding, yes, that would appear so, as I'm afraid because while I just knew there was something more that I was able to go and sense that had been coming from deep inside of his dark and twisted soul, Raijin has managed to go and transform his physical body and wielding it like a weapon of sorts, but while their battle above is resulting in having it shake the heavens all around us, I do happen to think that Raijin
Good to
now
see you. How you
knows that
doing?
without his secondary plans and having them be set into action against the Grand Minister, will he only be doomed to fail like he had failed once before in having to go and stop the Grand Priest, which as the Grand Priest was then shown behind Raijin, it was only just as Raijin was beginning to look around and having to try to locate to see where the Grand Priest was when the Grand Priest went on to address Raijin by responding, you know, I do find it quite interesting that despite with you having to already lose this battle here against me, you still continue to accept this notion despite it knowing that you can't match my strength, and so now are you starting to now come to your senses and having you go and see that you are without hope here against me, the Grand Priest questions? Or do you wish to still choose to continue to battle here against me because your desperation is beginning to rear its ugly face on the surface here, demon, with Raijin being shown having to dash on up by responding, why, you? Well, no, as a matter of fact, I don't, you worthless little lapdog, because this isn't over. Not by a long shot, it's not, and so if you don't want to believe me, then go and stay right where you are and don't move, and I will gladly go and show you. To which moments later, back down below, with our heroes now being shown having to slowly reassemble and having to address the overall situation by pondering on what they were going to do, was when Bohan went on to quickly respond, and what do you think that we should go and do if this is what Raijin's motives are truly going to be like? Because how are we going to know if our aid won't be useful in this battle
Slap
against
the
the
shit
Grand
out of
Minister
Beerus
out
and
there if we
fucking
don't
Piccolo.
happen to go and try? With Orange Piccolo responding, you really don't, but I don't think that having us just stay there and watch as this demon goes and reaches a new evolution would be the smartest approach in this war here against him, especially now while we have him right where we need for him to be, and so we'll need to go and think of something and hurry and think of something fast. With Beerus responding, so then what exactly do you think will happen if this demon were to somehow go and achieve such a feat here against the Grand Priest, Whis? Or do you think that it is possible that this demon will truly be successful in actually having to go and achieve this? With Whis responding, now while I urge for all of you to remain where you are unless the situation absolutely calls for it, what Raijin had mentioned about reaching such a status isn't something that we should take lightly here, Whis continues, and especially not after all that we have seen and had experienced whilst being down here, Lord Beerus. But since I don't hope for us to go and have to find out as to what Raijin means after having to mention a far greater and much more powerful evolution than the level of power in which he happens to wield right now, it truly is hard for me to go and say as to what the outcome of what we are watching go and take place here before us is going to be like. And while I do not have any reason to believe that this demon here is lying about having him go the extra mile if it means in having him win this war against us by any and all means, Whis continues, even at the cost of his very own life within the process, and I sure do hope that for all of our sake, including Raijin's after learning about what it was that we had learned from him just now, that we don't wind up in having to go and see any of it unfold while we're down here for the time being and facing him. With Beerus responding, wait, so you're actually trying to tell me that it's possible for that monster to go and push himself into truly being able to rival the Grand Priest's Omni level of power? But that's impossible! With Whis responding, well, even though I highly doubt that Raijin will be given the chance to actually go ahead and reach such points of power, it is not, however, outside the realm of possibility for him to go and try it, but we will need to go and wait and see as to how this will go. Your destruction here was inevitable from the very moment that you had went and decided to attempt to try and lock me away, which was never truly ever going to keep me at bay forever, and once once you did, you not only had went and had given me a suitable enough excuse to make it my mission in having me go and put you in your rightful place where you went and had belonged all along, but at the same time as this was shown in having to
I mean, I like the fact that he hype building because you give Demon God Raijin, who doesn't have a chance, a reason to sound like he's still a threat while he's getting all hands put on him. Shout out to the video title because he catching all hands. I mean, the boy over here trying to blow up the whole universe and rebirth himself at the same damn time. You is not the Phoenix, sir. You is not Jean Grey, okay? You is not him. You're not that guy. I'm sorry. You gonna catch all hands and get beat the fuck up, and then you're gonna be looking stupid over there, dead. DED, dead. That boy ain't finna make it. Ah, we hit the wrong damn button.
now happened, the Grand Priest continues, though you have masked this irregularity within yourself with cunning precision in concealing the chaotic essence quite well, while also ensuring to go and rapidly move its precise location from me to find and target, the Grand Priest says. I can go as far as to assure you here and now that I will carry on by shattering your dreams and destroy you completely before you can even go in there to attempt to detonate yourself in a desperate bid to obliterate the multiverse all around you, or before that brewing anomaly is to go and find its insidious way out and onto the surface for you to go and use here against me, demon. For your failure was already predestined, as you lack the experience to ever go and find a way to best me with such amalgamated forces, whether having to simply oppose my power directly or by amalgamating your very own in hopes of having to stop me, the Omni Grand Priest says. And so now don't think that I too wouldn't go all the way if it meant in having to go and protect the multiverse along with everyone and everything within it here against you either. And while your destruction is absolutely indispensable for the sake of the multiverse's survival, your pernicious effect on all life, including those of your very own down here, cannot go and be allowed to continue if we are to hope to preserve and restore the things that you had went and tried to destroy. And while you thought that by using Myrno's power and combining it with your own was going to be enough to beat me into submission here against you, you will fail just as Myrno had once failed, as this evolution...
I mean, he at least put some respect on your name, Grand Minister. He said if Myrno wasn't enough, then I shouldn't be enough. But if you throw me and this motherfucker's powers together, that might be enough. It still wasn't, but at least he was trying to put some respect on your name. Like, I ain't just gonna come half-stepping like just normal me. Because, hell, I done seen this demon that I was having problems with. Well, it was an angel at that point in time, but angels and demons say the same thing to hanging Dragon Ball. So, yeah, they're the same damn thing. Imagine that, right? But anyways, he said we're gonna put it together. Together. Come together like butt cheeks.
Only for you to be born into a new and far more stronger body will not be allowed in having it become a reality here, demon, the Grand Priest continues. And while your plans of total annihilation via your own self-destruction to ensure that everything is lost will also be stopped before you can go as far as to try it, understand that whatever you will go and try to attempt and whatever it is that you will attempt to go and try to achieve here will not be something that I will go and stand for, because sooner rather than later I will destroy you, demon. Oh, now that does it, you angelic freak, Raijin shouts. We'll see soon enough on which one of us will be laughing here last between us, and so now hold still, you little rats. Man, as strong as Raijin is shown in having to go and be up there, Goku then went on to chime in by responding, the Grand Minister is making all of his efforts seem so easy to go and deal with up there, but, well, I guess the question now is how long can they go and continue to keep that level of intensity going before one of them ends up in having to go and be the first to break, as Kibi then went on to respond, oh, we should have known that he was looking to go and take all of us down from the very moment that he was shown in having to be set free from that chamber that he was kept locked inside of. But is there anything that either one of us can go and do here that will be enough to help stop him here is the real question, with Whis responding, now while I trust that even with Raijin's continuous onslaught and having to show no signs of having him slow down, the Grand Minister does not appear to be wavering against this demon whatsoever, Whis continues, which only goes as far as to further tell me that not only is he confident in being able to go and win this, but I do also want to go and believe that this final clash here between them will more than likely be their last. To which, as Vegeta was then shown slowly getting up from the ground, was when Vegeta went on to then quickly respond, "Oh, damn it all. So not only is he aiming to try and destroy all of us via some kind of a self-destruction method in hopes of having to go and try to have nobody win, but now you're meaning to go and tell me that this monster can somehow give way into potentially being reborn through whatever it is that he has going on that seems to be stemming from this abnormal irregularity? Oh, just great. More bad news," Vegeta says, with Kibi being shown addressing Goku by then responding, "Hey, are you guys alright here? As this doesn't seem to look as though we are going to have any luck just by simply having to stand back and watch for all of this to unfold here. So, do any one of you have any ideas as to what we're going to do to go about this?" With Goku responding, "Yeah, but I think that for the most part everyone is okay here, but to be honest, I'm not quite sure on what we can do that will ultimately change the outcome of this battle here against that monster if you aren't the Grand Minister here, so I can't really say for sure on what we can go and do here that'll work, but we'll just have to go and trust it. Now, alright, now listen closely," Vegeta went on to then quickly shout, "because we don't have a whole lot of time to go and waste on our hands here, so we'll need to go and act fast if we hope to make it out of this battle with our lives here," Vegeta continues, "and it's because we are hereby left with no other choice than to go and attack that freak. And if we can't go and conjure up the power to go and destroy that monster, then at least we can go and use it so that we can distract and disorient him with it in order for the Grand Minister to accurately pinpoint and destroy the source of that demon's power that they sense that is coming from deep within him. As I will not just go on to continue to stand around here while he goes and makes a mockery out of our Saiyan pride," Vegeta adds, "for this imbalance that is seemingly growing within Raijin as he only continues to battle against the Grand Priest, fueled by the Demon Realm's power and amplifying his every move, it is unstable and too dangerous beyond any measure to keep him around," Vegeta says. "So we will have to go and stay committed and seriously focused here by creating a layered diversion to draw him away from the Grand Priest, or before our chances to go and destroy him slips away by intervening at the right moment and pulling his attention away, we have to just go and buy the Grand Priest those vital seconds to go and find the root of this imbalance within his body by ensuring that he were to go and annihilate it for good," as Kibi went on to address the others by then quickly responding, "Well, for what it's worth, Vegeta is right here, because the longer we go and continue to stand around and watch as this irregularity grows into potentially becoming a far bigger problem than how Raijin is shown him having to be at the moment, we will need to go and act in good faith here by attempting to go and subvert Raijin's attention for the time being, so that way we can go and follow through by having to do what we need in order to go and do this for good. But if we don't and simply go and continue to choose to just watch and hope for the Grand Priest to finish this all by himself," Kibi continues, "then I'm afraid that we are only now beginning to set ourselves up for failure if we refuse to go and do anything to go and help him, and it's because we don't have a whole lot of time on our hands here. We will need to go and hurry and do what we must if we hope to go and win this war against Raijin here once and for all," with Goku then quickly shown him having to turn his head by addressing Vegeta and responding, "So what are you planning then here, Vegeta? Because we aren't strong enough to go and contend against that beast the way we currently are, and so now what are you suggesting that we should go and do here that will ultimately go and help us?" With Vegeta responding, "Well, we will need to go and try to strike this beast at his very core by using every and all possible avenues to try to go and slow Raijin down, so that way the Grand Minister can go and locate this imbalance and destroy it before he is to go and have a chance to make a move here against us that would disrupt the flow of this battle here against him," as it was only right then and there now during that moment where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super Story of the Dark Masters, the official Murno sequel, manga chapter number 56 semi-finale special, then comes to a close.
Well, actually, I'll go ahead and take it from here, as I do want to go as far as to address something very important with our dear viewers at the moment. As before I go and give you the following information, if you aren't already a member of Unreal's Patreon community, then...
I mean, I like how he got the Grand Priest drawn out to where he's like, you know, that Danny DeVito version of Wolverine that we were supposed to see that we never got to see. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I suggest you go look it up. Shouts out to that, because you'll be amazed. Like, yeah, that is what you would expect the Danny DeVito Wolverine to look like. I mean, yeah, except for he's got the hair up top and he ain't bald.
Because not only is the
Yeah,
next
I'll
episode
get you some
already on the
transplants,
page,
bro.
but if you want to support all of the manga content that you see and gain access to tons of exclusives along the way that range from a variety of different things, then we do encourage for you all to become members of our Patreon community today.
Scully's up early today. That's what's up. He said, shit, I gotta get these kids where they need to go. Shit ain't gonna do itself, right?
Now riding on this final moment here against this demon, we are to help assist the Grand Minister as best as we can while ensuring that our efforts are not to be taken in vain here. And since I have no doubt that everything is going to come down to this one final battle between them that will determine the fate of everything as we know it, you do not want to go and miss out on what is about to happen coming up next. So we hope that you all enjoyed today's video. And before you leave, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up by smashing that like button on your way out, as well as also subscribing to Unreal in Gaming's channel for tons of new Dragon Ball content. So with that, we thank you all so much for watching, as we'll be seeing you all again for the next one.
Hello. Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to Unreal Gaming?
Also, don't forget to follow on these social media platforms, you sexy son of a bitch.
Roshi.
Silent Cell, me and the fans are having a moment. That's right. I know what you want. Extra long, thick Dragon Ball content. Quality reviews with flawless editing. Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You dirty bitch.
Roshi, the fuck?
God damn it, I need them to subscribe, Cell.
And we're demonetized.
Yeah, screw it. Let's cut to the video.
Definitely some good weed. Hell, I just had a complete flashback. Welcome back, Fred. Hell.
You're making a big mistake.
Anyways.
Where do you think you're going?
I mean, y'all gotta remember why Gohan wanted to be a scholar. I'm trying to be out here and be smart.
What a waste of talent. Back off. Haven't you?
Hey, just think about the Zenkai Gohan just got though. That boy just fought Vegeta after he fought Frieza. So that would be 2.5 million power level Vegeta at that point in time, is what I'm saying. Get beating the shit out of Gohan, who he spiked up, might be higher, might be less.
So
You never
Dragon
know.
Ball
It's
Daima has
Gohan.
given us a canon look at what the Demon Realm looks like, but this isn't really new territory for Dragon Ball. The concept of a world full of demons has been lurking in the series for ages, way before Daima introduced us to the three demon worlds, Degisu, or even before Dabura himself. Think of it like the Clone Wars in Star Wars. We knew it existed because of a line from Obi-Wan, but we didn't really know what it meant. We only had various authors' interpretations of what it could be. And just like those early references to the Clone Wars, early interpretations to the Demon Realm were, well, let's just say they left room for improvement. So let's go back in time and explore just how the Demon Realm was depicted before Daima showed us a canon view of it, from filler episodes to video game lore. This mysterious dimension has had quite a journey, and some of it is hilariously bizarre. The Demon Realm has been lurking in the shadows of Dragon Ball since its very first series, even if it didn't get the spotlight until much later on. Its first appearance was on episode 81 of the original Dragon Ball anime, Goku Goes to Demon Land. Yes, that's the actual title. They didn't really hold back, huh? It takes place during the 3 years of training before the 22nd World Tournament, as Goku travels the world without the Flying Nimbus. This filler episode introduces us to the Demon Realm Gate, a portal between the human world and the demon world. Shula, the self-proclaimed demon lord and martial artist, decided that it would be a good idea to wedge the gate open with his cursed sword, introducing the idea of magic beyond ki early on. But why did he do this? Because he wanted to marry a 10-year-old princess. Naturally, Goku, who's never met a problem he couldn't punch, jumps right into the demon realm to save the princess. Along the way, he meets Melee and Gola, two demon guards who actually help Goku get away. Goku then fights Shula in a fighting ring. Whoever beats Shula in battle will be able to overcome the curse and remove the sword, closing the portal between the two worlds and stopping the demons from running rampant. But Shula is no pushover, and Goku is quickly outmatched. The fight gets tense until Goku pulls off a Kamehameha that blinds Shula and his crew for just long enough for Goku to grab the princess and shut the portal. He then removes the sword, closing the gate and stopping the demons from escaping. It's a fun little side story that reminds us that Goku still had a lot of training to do, but it doesn't really fit in with what we know now. Here's where things get a little murky. Did Toriyama remember or even know this filler episode existed when creating Dabura and his backstory in the book? We do know that Toriyama gave ideas to the team for anime filler, like Launch chasing after Tien, Yamcha playing baseball, and the creation of Gregory. He also did watch the anime with his kids, so it's entirely possible that he saw this episode and thought, yeah, I can work with this later on. Or maybe it was just a happy coincidence. More than likely, it's the latter, since the concept of the demon realm is a pretty generic and obvious thing to do in shonen manga. Yu Yu Hakusho, for example, has its own version of it. The concept of it is also just practically baked into Japanese folklore. It's no wonder the anime team used it for filler. They probably didn't think that it would actually become a thing later on. What we do know is that the filler story doesn't quite align with canon now. For example, Melee, one of Shula's minions, claims that only people granted permission by Kami and Yema can pass on to the demon realm. These are funny name drops since they would actually become characters later on. Daima also establishes that the demon realm is actually accessible through the mortal realm and doesn't seem to have much relation to Otherworld. There's also something similar depicted in the second Dragon Ball movie, Sleeping Princess in Devil's Castle. There, Goku and the others go into the Devil's Castle, the home of Lucifer and his demons. It's a similar idea to the demon realm, a place ruled by monsters and ogres, and Lucifer himself is called a Demon King. More importantly, later on, Demon King Piccolo would become one of the main adversaries in the series. He's called a Demon King, he spawns monsters, and those killed by him can never go to Otherworld. For the longest time, it seemed like this was just a one-off idea that Toriyama had, and was eventually kind of retconned when Piccolo and Kami turned out to be Namekians, aka aliens. Now with Dragon Ball Daima, we know that they did originate from the demon realm, so the title of Demon King Piccolo had does have more weight to it. Still, the idea of the demon realm was really nebulous. That was until 1993. Dabura's introduction in the book is where we finally get our first fully canon mention of the demon realm itself in Dragon Ball. He was first introduced in chapter 446 of the manga as the Supreme Demon King. Dabura is supposed to rule over this mysterious place, but by the time we meet him, he's already been Babidi's mind control lackey for 300 years. Honestly, it's kind of wild to think about. Imagine being the ruler of an entire realm and then spending 3 centuries taking order from a guy whose big plan involves a pink blob eating everything. Talk about a career downgrade. Goku mentions that he's as strong as Cell, and Kaioshin is completely terrified of him. Honestly, it's kinda crazy that Dabura was so willing to fight Majin Buu and just insult him over and over. After all, he should know what he was capable of, since apparently he caused chaos all over the demon realm, killing off the majority of the glint. But then again, that was Kid Buu and not this giant baby, so I kinda get it. Dabura's connection to the demon realm really doesn't get much elaboration in the saga. During his fight against Gohan, Dabura asks Babidi to teleport them to a planet with an environment similar to Earth. This isn't the demon realm. A lot of fans think it is, even I thought it was. I could have sworn that he said, "Take me to a place similar to the demon realm," but he doesn't. Video games, however, sometimes call it that, like Boo's Fury, where it is explicitly called the Demon World, and it does look kinda similar to the third Demon World. Daima's fleshing out of the demon realm finally gives context as to why Shin was so terrified of him. After all, he actually lived under his and perhaps his father's rule, where the Dragon Balls, the evil third eye, and Majin Buu caused chaos. What's interesting is how various authors have tried to tie Dabura back into earlier filler lore. Both him and Shular are listed as members of the Demon Realm race in the Daisenshu 7 character dictionary, connecting the dots between canon and non-canon stories. We see this further explored in a really weird place, Dokkan Battle. Besides the game's power creep and me never pulling Beast Gohan, the game actually has a story mode. Yeah, believe it or not, adventure mode is more than just a way to get free stones. In Area 18 of the main story, the epic attack and defense, dimensional distortions mess up the barrier separating the demon realm from the rest of the universe. So Shula, Melee, and Gola decide that it's the perfect time to make their move. Their goal? To find their long-lost Supreme Demon King, Dabura. Honestly, I think it's pretty cool that the game tried to connect the two ideas of the demon realm in this way. Shula and the others being actual followers of Dabura makes sense. They've been trying to bring him back since the demon realm is without a ruler, and it's brought chaos to it. Shula fights the player once he finds out that Melee and Gola were seeking Goku's help. He acknowledges our power and goes away until later, when Shula and Melee appear once more. This is after we've already fought Dabura, revived Boo, and even took down Super 17. Melee thinks that the reason there's been crazy dimensional rifts is because the demon realm is without a king, and without the demon realm, the balance of the universe has shifted. The game also mentions that Dabura has been missing for a few hundred years, but the Daisenshu clears up the timeline. Babidi took control of Dabura on age 474, and the Boo saga takes place on age 774. Once the Z anime wrapped up, interviews from Akira Toriyama became one of the few ways fans got information about the demon realm. In one interview, Toriyama mentioned that the demon realm was located at the very bottom tip of the universe map. It's like a basement of the Dragon Ball multiverse. Dark, creepy, and probably filled with questionable smells. However, with Dragon Ball Daima Episode 10 now revealing that the demon realm existed before the universes themselves, this whole bottom tip thing might need a little bit of an update. Apparently, the demon realm has been around long before the universes, which makes it feel less like a basement and more like the creepy foundation your house was built on. Toriyama also described the demon realm as being a small hideout where mages reside. This does kinda tribe with what we've seen. Compared to the 12 universes, the demon realm seems tiny. He does mention that the demon realm is split between several different spatial areas, an idea that's now been fully realized with the 3 separate demon worlds. Daisenshu 7 also describes it as a place where magic is more influential than science. So we see his Daima vision for the demon realm slowly taking shape in these outside materials. Then there's the 2009 super exciting guide, where Toriyama revealed that the demon realm is home to the Makayo and Makaioshin, who are essentially dark side equivalents of the Kais. The Makaioshin are said to be cast away from the core world and into the demon realm for being born bad, which is kinda messed up. Also, all the Kaioshin are born from trees like fruit. Normal fruit become King Kais, while special golden fruit becomes Supreme Kais. While Daima keeps the ideas of Kais coming from trees, the core world is now in the demon realm itself. So you can't really cast away someone into the demon realm if you already live there. Maybe they're instead cast into the first demon realm, or something like that. In Daima, Degisu and Arinsu seem to fit the mold of the Makaioshin, though the anime doesn't outright confirm this. Similarly, Dragon Ball Heroes has a character named Demigra, who does also seem to qualify as a Makaioshin, but I don't think they've been explicitly called that. Speaking of Heroes, its main inspiration was Dragon Ball Online. This MMORPG, which quietly came and went, feels like the Dragon Ball version of a pilot episode that didn't get picked up, only for its best ideas to be recycled into bigger, flashier spin-offs. I have a video all about it if you're interested. It introduced us to the infamous Demon Realm duo, Towa and Mira, who would go on to become major players in Heroes, Xenoverse, and even make cameos in Kakarot. Online also gave us Time Patrol Trunks, the first mention of the Kaioshin of Time, and a surprising amount of lore, including New Namek being destroyed by Mira and Towa, and all the Namekians relocating to Earth. A portion of those Namekians relocated to Ishuri's Lake, the place where King Piccolo had his throne originally, and where he was sealed away. The lingering essence of the Demon King Piccolo corrupted those Namekians. They even have their own eternal dragon called Mr. Poco Poco. This isn't really related to the Demon Realm, but it is to Demon King Piccolo. And like I said before, Namekians do come from the Demon Realm. So all of this kinda builds up to make some pretty interesting lore. Toriyama himself supervised the game, and had a surprising amount of creative control. The game takes place 250 years after the original manga ends. A distant future where Dabura's younger sister, the evil scientist Towa, and her bio-android husband Mira wreak havoc. Online mentions that Towa betrayed the Demon Realm, and was banished. To get revenge,
Now hold on, for those who didn't notice, it said her husband is a bio android. So she married her sex doll. 18 plus content all the way. Hit up her OnlyFans.
founded the Timebreakers, and eventually had a son, Fu, though he's only briefly mentioned and wouldn't appear until Heroes. The Timebreaker's goal was the same as it is now in Heroes and Xenoverse: to store time, brainwash fighters, and collect killy energy for their schemes. There were even more members of the Timebreakers who didn't make the leap into Heroes, like July, a female bio-android similar to Mira, and the Majin twins Haru Haru and Shun Shun. What's fascinating is how Daima seems to echo some of these ideas. Dr. Adensu, a brilliant demon scientist in Daima, creates bioweapons much like Towa, and her ally, Glorio, bears a striking resemblance to Mira. This doesn't feel like a coincidence. Daiki Miki, the original designer of Mira and Towa, once said that Toriyama was quite fond of them. With how Toriyama reworked Broly for Dragon Ball Super, it's entirely possible that Adensu and Glorio were his own reinterpretations of Mira and Towa for Daima. While online quietly faded away, its DNA lives on in Heroes. From Towa and Mira, to the Time Patrol, and the Supreme Kai of Time. One of my personal favorites is Shokulai Tower. Picture this: an evil version of Korin Tower, complete with a sinister cat named Shokulai who grows dark senzu beans. Yeah, evil senzu beans. The design of Shokulai Tower even gets reused in Heroes for Mechikabora's Tower. I bring this up specifically because the castle of the Supreme Demon King seems to take inspiration from Shokulai Tower as well, with architecture being built into trees as a major motif. There's also artwork of Baby Fu in a guidebook, teasing that he'll have big influence in the world when he grows up. Spoiler alert, he definitely does, but not to Heroes. Sadly, online ended before he could be introduced. Dragon Ball Heroes is where the Demon Realm really goes from a vague concept to a fully realized location with its own lore. We're introduced to characters like Gravy, Poutine, Demigra, Robelu, Mechikabora, etc, etc. There's even Finn, a Majin android created by Towa. We've recently seen something similar when Dr. Adensu recreated Buu with Majin Ku and Do. Towa and Mira were this, but their motivations shift slightly. Instead of betraying the Demon Realm like in online, they focus on meddling with time and space to release the Demon Realm seal and the universe. Their strategy is still brainwashing fighters and gathering killy. Some things never really change. The Demon Realm in Heroes is as dark and gloomy as you'd expect, with its crimson-purple skies, barren wastelands, and an aesthetic that screams Hot Topic but make it Dragon Ball. It does resemble the eerie terrain Babidi teleports Dabura and Gohan to during the Buu arc. With Daima, however, the Demon Realm has been reimagined into 3 separate worlds. The third Demon World is pretty dingy. Think of Tatooine from Star Wars. The second one seems to be more for the elite, and largely covered in water. The first Demon World's crimson, rocky landscapes do bear a striking resemblance to the Heroes version. The entangled, tree-like structures and ominous vibe seem like a clear nod to what we saw there. Like the design team said, what if we kept the dark edge but made it fit into Toriyama's colorful yet creepy style? Not only that, but the idea of a new set of Demon Realm Dragon Balls was first introduced in Heroes, with the Dark Dragon Balls. They also require a fight against an opponent to complete, since they're attached to the chest of a villain, much like the Tamagami. But unlike the Tamagami, who are there specifically to protect the Dragon Balls, these dark versions of them are instead scattered through space and time, attaching themselves to villains from the past, and powering them up. Though both sets are being sought after by the villains in Heroes. The Dragon Ball Heroes version were created by Dende, who was kidnapped, and able to create them. While the new ones were created by a brand new Namekian named Neva. And though in Daima Dende hasn't been mind-controlled, he was kidnapped, and Goma brings up the idea of forcing him to create a new Dragon Ball set just for them. So there's quite a few things connecting them. The Demon Realm has popped up in other games though, like Dragon Ball Fusions. This quirky RPG introduced a few new members of the Demon Realm race, including Magma, who also appears in the manga, and Pipila, a Demon Realm idol. Yes, even demons need an idol group. Because why not? Then there's Mirayo, a former queen of the Demon Realm. Was she Dabura's ex-wife? His rival? The queen of Demon TikTok? Who knows? They're really just random NPCs to fuse with and fight. It's fascinating to see how different creators envisioned the Demon Realm over the years. While Daima reimagines it as a sleazy, chaotic underground that feels like it could host a cantina from Star Wars, earlier depictions leaned into the dark and edgy underworld aesthetic. Power-ups, red skies, and brooding designs have been swept out for something brighter, more colorful, and surprisingly rich in lore. It makes you wonder, did the success of Heroes and its sprawling lore ultimately clash too much with Toriyama's evolving evolving vision? Is that why Heroes recently ended despite the years of success? Could these two versions of the Demon Realm ever coexist? Or are Mira, Towa, and the edgy Demon Realm we knew officially retired? Only time will tell, but it's clear that the Demon Realm's transformation mirrors how Dragon Ball itself has evolved. If nothing else, it's fascinating to see the ideas of what other authors besides Toriyama himself had in mind for this mysterious place. All they had to draw on was a handful of lines after all. Like I said earlier, it's very similar to the Clone Wars. Everyone had their own vision of it, but Daima finally gives us the official version. Whether you're a fan of the dark, brooding aesthetic of Heroes, or the vibrant chaos of Daima, there's something to love in how Dragon Ball keeps surprising us. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe. And if you're looking for more Dragon Ball facts, check out my video explaining every single set of Dragon Balls in the series.
Man, don't even worry about it. You're an animal. Let's get something to eat. See how every time Gohan is on that self-sabotage, Goku just immediately has a way of bringing him back. And some of you say he's not a good father. Come on, bro. I don't want to hear it.
Alright, Scully, I'll catch you later. Y'all need to go check out the author that reads to you.
Hey there, my viral culture people. Here's the #1 One Piece hater, Z's, with a new tasty and alien video. While revisiting the Frieza saga, I realized that the Super Namekian meal was about to face the Guinu Special Forces, but backed down due to the Patriarch's delicate health, which led me to the next question in the video. Was Neil capable of defeating the Guinu Special Forces? How much would he have dropped with that 42,000 fighting power? We're going to analyze it in this tasty video with a few interesting facts. Without further ado, hi.
Spiritual aim. The Guinu Special Forces. The Guinu Special Forces are commonly underestimated for their antics influenced by Super Sentai or Power Ranger for Friends, from which the great Akira Toriyama, may he rest in peace, was inspired.
That explains a lot.
But on paper they were the elite force of none other than Emperor Frieza, with Guinu as his right-hand man. Subordinates like Sarbin considered it an exaggeration to call them named Cousin, but Frieza let his bad feeling guide him. It is notable that the group is the only one not to feel threatened, disrespected, blocked, or censored by their boss and admin Frieza. According to my sources Ariel 12, the first being recruited by Captain Guinu was Jace as vice captain, followed by Riken, then Water, and finally Gerdo. Being the hierarchical order, if we talk about brute force, since each one has unique special abilities, it could even
shout
be
out to
said
the
to
AI
have mutants within
voiceovers,
their
but hell,
species,
y'all know
which is
we
the
ain't
main
fucking
reason
with
why
that
Frieza.
shit. It's a good topic though, because I do think, let's see, Raccoon power was at like 60,000 because it was enough to take all of Vegeta's hits and not seriously be hurt by it. So, and then Berter and Jace were close, they say. So these three are all about 45 to 60,000 power levels, and Nail, it already said, was only at 42. So I'll give Jace he'd have parked Jace if he ran into Jace first. Berter, who said he was fast, really wasn't shit, but he kind of was fast. I mean, so he'd have been a problem halfway. But then, I mean, Raccoon technically looked like he had the most strength out of the three of these guys. So I mean, you got a walk. I mean, he might have some problems, but you can catch Berter slipping, and then Raccoon might actually give him a fight. We know Gildo's little bald-headed ass, that time freezing shit wouldn't have been nothing, because, yeah, you see how quickly Vegeta just caught him not really paying attention and bumped his ass. So, yeah, but Captain Ginyu, he'd have got washed. Definitely would have been washed. Because, you know, he had twice Nail's power at that point. Shouts out to Nail doing his thing, though. Let's skip this video because I don't like his quality. But, yeah. Shout out to that big homie did this beat, though. I appreciate its quality. Yeah.
by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning light. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning